Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the F1XL race here in Division 3. Here we are joined by quite a few drivers at the moment. I've got 15 out of 22 so far. If I quickly check the Discord to see how many people are racing tonight, we will see. We have 15 racing, so I assume that's everybody in. But now we have 16. How absolutely enthralling. So going through the list at the moment, we have Yadon Checks in the McLaren with Wadey in the Kick Sauber here. My Life FC in the Haas with Adski in the V-Carb. Leonardo ST in the Mercedes with Slow Dog in the V-Carb. And RPL Titan Iron in the Ferrari with Hakejow in the Alpine. Lynx Adventura in the McLaren and F1XL Roland in the Red Bull with DNG Titan in the Alpine. Skangman the Ferrari. Hubbaday in the Aston Martin. BT in the Haas. Rambo Jambo in the Red Bull. Powell in the Kick Sauber. Now I don't know what music has just started playing, but we are going to stop that just now as we head into qualifying. Here, what we will see now, if we go into the topology of the map, this is going to be a 26 lap race round the Baku City Street Circuit. We've got 20 turns in total, 12 to the left and 8 to the right. With 2 TRS zones. It'll be certainly a very interesting race. Hopefully a lot of drama, hopefully a lot of action. The track measures at just a little tiny bit over 6 kilometers, and we're using the softest tyre compound in the Pirelli range, using the C5s, C4s and the C3s. They're soft as the C5, medium as the C4, and your hard as the C3. The track record here is 1:38.0 for Division 3, and we'll see how that goes. That could very well go very... Could it be bet? Who knows? Probably not, because that was set back in 2021. That game, from what I remember, was very, very, very fast. Going into qualifying then, we have Slow Dog, who's had 4 poles so far in this season, 4 pole positions, and Leonardo ST with 3 pole positions. So if you are going to be a betting person, I would push your bets on any of those lovely people right there as we load into the session here for our short qualifying session of 18 minutes. We will see who can do the best lap round this very tight and twisty street circuit as we get started in around 2 seconds. Here we are loading into the lovely, lovely city of Baku, waiting for hopefully someone to head out. Yes, Samson, I am commentating again. Here we are. So we'll see who heads out first, and whoever that is we will head on board with for their first lap round the circuit. And we will see quite how well they do immediately against a lot of other people in the race. Everyone will be getting their setups ready. Setups here could really be anything. 4, 5, 3 even. It could be anything, so I guess we'll figure that out as we go and receive a Haas driver of, I think, that is My Life is headed out first, and the approaches turn, let's say 2. Going down this big long straight, it's a big DRS zone here. A lot of overtakes. We actually saw it on this very straight where in real life Carlos and Sergio Perez fell apart from each other and ruined both of their races. Let's see here, let's get the track map up, the lap data up, the telemetry up, and I don't think we need any of this at the moment. A gap can be fastest lap and camera tech broadcast as he lets the Ferrari of RPL Titan Iron, I think that is, ahead of him. So We'll see what Titan Iron's lap is, considering he is now first and approaching the big long straight, currently going through the very tight and twisted castle section, which that Ferrari will be very, very familiar with. Trying to generate those tyre temps then as he is on and off the throttle. We can see that braking down into gear 3 as he approaches through this very lovely camera angle turn as he approaches the longest straight of the session. So that's a yellow flag. I assume nothing wrong there. Very tight left-right sequence here as we now head towards the start-finish straight. Let's head on board with LPL Titan Iron then as we turn down the other. That is very, very loud. Towards turn 1 then, we are braking just before the 100 board, sorry. Turning into the apex, very nicely done. And then braking here just before the 50 board, between 75 and 100, turning left into a big, nice and long straight, opening up your DRS as wide as possible and using some of that overtake down towards turn 3. Braking here at the 100 board, left, get as close to that inside wall as possible and extend the exit as wide as possible, braking between 100 and 50 there again as he hits the wall. RPL Titan Iron, that is not the lap he will be wanting here, but I don't think he has any damage there as he turns right. It turns left. This is a horrible lap from him. I think this lap's over. I do not think he will be doing a very, very impressive lap here. I thank F1XL Roland for the follow here on this lap. Yeah, he is. This lap is very, very, yeah, not good for him. Going through this section, he's still using overtake, so he's still thinking he can get a good lap at this, maybe even a banker, because if it's not bad, if it's not over, it's not over. Turns left through that corner and towards the last proper braking zone of the track, as you could ride that curve a bit more. Turning right here and then bringing it left to a very fast right here, and then just keeping that floor, that foot pinned to the ground there as we head towards the start-finish straight, using as much overtake as possible, trying to get to the line as quickly as possible, and he sets the benchmark of a 1:42.0. Not the best lap from him, as we see immediately Hake beats him with a 1:41.2. Wade again puts in a 1:41.9, a good lap from the Kick Sauber driver. Slow Dog goes in with an impressive lap time of a 1:40.1. Wow, that's 1.1 seconds quicker than second at the moment. Really not holding back. No sandbags on for Slow Dog here. Jadon checks, goes down to P7 with a 1:48.2. He must have made a mistake somewhere there. As Lynx Adventura 1:41.5 for the McLaren driver. A Mercedes driver approaches the line. I think that's Leonardo ST as he puts in the fastest lap with a 1:39.9. That's a brilliant lap from him. He should be well proud of himself after that absolutely stunning performance for our championship leader. As we watch, I think that's a Red Bull heading towards the penetrate, or is it? It's Adske. Adske head towards the fastest lap board and goes towards a P3 for the V-Carb. V-Carb's having a very good time out there at the moment, I must say. Who's next? As we see a Kick Sauber of Powell head towards the line and go P4 with a 1:41.1. That time from Leonardo ST is looking very undefeatable at the moment. So he's doing a great job at the moment. Still only 2 seconds off. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Yeah, 2 seconds off of the fastest lap in Div 3, so I do not think we'll be getting that anytime soon as we see Lynx Adventura drift around the corner there in that McLaren of his. Bringing it through multiple different corners. Very fast, high-speed corners here on the Baku City Street Circuit track. Putting his foot to the floor as he tries to get as close to the line as possible, but he pulls into the pits. He pulls into the pits. I assume the same for DGN Titan here, as he also goes into the pits here, and we can relax a bit. here in the commentary. We're seeing Rambo Jambo. He's currently on an outlap. I'm excited to see what he can do. As he puts on his hot lap mode ERS and heads, using some of his overtake towards the start finish line. Let's go on board for him this lap here. We go towards turn 1, braking again just before the 100 board. Can he get the apex? He goes a bit wide. He just misses the wall on the right hand side, but he can still continue this lap. Braking just before the 50, rides the inside curve a bit and extends it out to the exit. Using some of his overtake here to try and get as far past as possible. Foot to the floor, trying to just edge as much speed out as possible. Braking between 150. Wow, very good. Very close to the wall there for Rambo Jambo in the Red Bull. As he uses as much of the apex as possible. Gets as close to the outside of the exit curve as possible. At the 50 board, turns left. Brilliant lines, much better lines than what we saw through RPL Titan Iron so far. Braking at the 50 board here as we turn right. Probably could have taken a bit more curb there, but it doesn't really matter in this current stage. 50, turn left, right. Very tight section, tightest section on the Formula 1 calendar from what I believe. As you then put your foot to the floor for this semi-straight, I want to call it, where it's all flat out corners. As DGN Titan retires from the session. Turns left through this corner, very, very lovely corner, I must say. Turns left into the final braking zone of the lap. Foot to the floor as he brings it, keeps it to the outside through the left and the right of this track. Very twisty, very lovely, very exciting nature that he has. Here he is then, using as much of his ERS as possible. He will be losing time with that 0% ERS, but he brings it up to P7. That's a very, very nice lap from Rambo Jambo. He should be proud of himself through that action. Next across the line, it is a Ferrari of Skingman. Let's see what he can do. Also 0% ERS. Can he break to the line? He brings it to P2. Skingman with a 140.1. Absolutely loving life in the top in that Ferrari. Not crashed it. He has done a brilliant job there. He's very proud of himself, only to be 2 tenths away from Leonardo's godlike time. This is the person I'm wanting to spectate just now. Leonardo, can he improve on his 139.9? I guess we will find out just now as we go off board for him. Approaching down towards turn 1. What can he do in this lovely and exciting qualifying session? Very nice through turn 1 as he then comes down towards turn 2, turning in, getting as much of a good exit as possible. This is a very nice lap to watch so far, I must say. No instance. Just straight, knows when to use his ERS, knows when to brake, knows how to reach an apex and knows how to extend the corner as much as possible. Turning right into here, left, and approaching this right-hander to turn into the left. They're having a very nice tight line, I must say, but keeping that speed through and keeping a high ERS level as well, that will help him towards the end of this lap, taking as much curve as possible. We'll absolutely love to see that. Braking just before the 50, getting a nice, lovely amount of apex there through the castle section. He's doing a fantastic lap so far, I must say. As he foot to the floor towards this left-hander, another left-hander before a very, very quick braking zone to turn left over a curb. Wow, this is a magical lap. Can he do better? I've not been keeping an eye on his sector times because I've been looking at the car and these lines that he has been performing. Leonardo turning left, right, and foot to the floor now as we head towards the start finish straight. Trying to get as much speed out of that young Mercedes as possible, but he's used all of the ZRS. That is not what he'll be looking for. He'll be losing time as BT gets a collision with My Life, as that's a 139.7. What a tremendous lap from the Mercedes driver. Absolutely brilliant. A win here could absolutely be massively beneficial towards his championship bid. 6 minutes to go in qualifying then, as we see Yadon Czech start his lap towards and going down to turn 2. Currently on hot lap, you'll see he's losing a lot more ERS than what Leonardo did at his point in time. Aston Martin gets nicely out of the way for the McLaren as he turns left through this very, very right-handed 90-degree turn centrals. Oh, that's a little bit of oversteer that he managed to control through, I think that's turn 4. Through a chicane. Does he touch the wall there? It's hard to tell from that camera angle, but he brings it closer and closer and brakes, brings it round the corner very nicely. Doesn't quite extend as much as he could, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. As he turns left through the castle section. Through here, can he keep it within track limits? He can, as he now uses his whole 1,000 odd horsepower to brake right at the end of it, over the curb, get as close to the wall as possible, to the last braking zone in this track, turn left, over the line, and turn right. There we are, and turn right again. Sorry, that was a left and a right, not a right and a right. Keeping it pinned all the way through this straight, the longest straight on the calendar from what I'm aware, I'm pretty sure. Other than Las Vegas now as he pits, he must have not made an improvement and decided against finishing that lap for him. I'm interested to see what Skangman can do here. Can he make a better lap than a 140.1? I reckon he could. As we see a McLaren of Lynx Adventura going through. He's currently 600 quicker than his previous best. Let's keep an eye on this. Let's keep an eye on this lap. He's snap oversteer, but very nice rotation from Lynx Adventura towards this left-hander and a right-hander. Very, very fast set of corners. You do not want to crash there. That would be a very high speed impact. He opens his DRS as wide as he possibly can, approaching the start-finish line. Neil moves up 1 place into P13. F1XL, no, not F1XL Roland. Rambo Jambo goes into turn 1 now in his hot lap mode. He is ready to do an absolute howler of a lap, I reckon. He's got his DRS open, going towards turn 3. As the lovely Mercedes driver gets nicely out of the way. I expect the Lynx Adventura to get out of the way as well here, unless he wants to potentially block the Red Bull. He does get out of the way, but he has a little bit of a snap oversteer, but he lets the Red Bull go past. Good lad. Rambo Jambo's on currently 1.5 tenths up on his previous time, doing a good job towards as he heads to the castle section. And heads up, braking just before 50s. That's contact between Lynx Adventura and the Ferrari behind. That is not good at all for the McLaren of Lynx Adventura, or any of the drivers that are driving past. This will hamper their laps 100% as he gets back and continues driving there. Not good to be having contact like that in a qualifying session. Let's have a look at Rambo Jambo again. He's 1.5 seconds down. What has he done? He's went invalid somewhere and we've missed it. That's unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. Leonardo then on another outlap, going towards the start-finish straight. I want to watch him do this. I want to watch his lap to see how fast he can go through this section of the track. Here's Leonardo then, towards the start-finish line. Manages to open up in his hot lap mode. Bring it towards the outside wall. Hug the outside wall. He turns in. Brilliant turn in there. Brilliant. Oh, absolutely brilliant from him. with his ERS usage and his lap track usage as well. Turning in here for the left-hander, you can see he brings it to the outside, brings it to the inside, and then brings it right round using his throttle control to help his speed, and using his throttle control to also just help his overall rotation in the car. Approaching now the twisty-turny section of the castle section. We turn left and we brake and we turn left again, and he touches the wall just a touch, but that shouldn't issue him a lot. He is doing an absolutely phenomenal lap just now from what I'm seeing from the offboard. He is absolutely flying through this whole section of track. With the 139.7 currently on his belt, can he improve as he goes through the sector 2 end? He's 2/10 up at the moment. 139.5 we're currently looking at roughly for his best times. F1XL Roland retires from the session. He's probably happy enough with his grid position. We're watching Leonardo go through. Power on his overtake button, turn on the DRS as he goes as fast as he can towards the start-finish line. Can he improve? He goes a 139.613 for the Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula 1 team. Absolutely phenomenal lap from him. Can we see an improvement from Slow Dog? He's 1.3 tenths up. I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough just now. 2 tenths up, going towards the end of Sector 2. Maybe this is just enough for him. Maybe Slow Dog can get this pole position that he really, really wants. Maybe this is the perfect thing that he needs for his championship bid. Currently, cannot get the championship today, but he is on very good form, Mr. Slow Dog. Winning the last race in Kota as he crosses the line, just misses the P1 pole position behind Leonardo. That's a shame for Slow Dog, but he really did push his luck out there. He tried his absolute hardest and he really hoped he could do the best he could possibly do. Skangman here has unfortunately invalidated his lap, and Mercedes as well. I think that is, I don't know who that is, but is going towards the straight just now. Of Leonardo, yeah. He's going to pit Leonardo, I think here. And Yadon checks. You can see him here. He's also invalidated. Lynx Adventura is finished. Rambo Jambo is invalidated. And I think that is your grid order for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for F1XL Division 3. Very good job from Leonardo, good job from Slow Dog, brilliant job from Roland to retire and know that he'll still have that P3. Adske, good job to put it in P4 with Skangman and RPL Titan Iron in P5 and P6. That is very, very good from them. Hakejoy in P7 with Yadon Checks in P8 and Wade P9 with Hubbaday P10, BT P11 and Rambo Jambo P12 in that Red Bull. Powell goes 13 with Lynx Adventura and 14th with that McLaren. DNG Titan in 15th in the Alpine with My Life FC23 and 16th for the Haas. Fantastic stuff. That's qualifying for Baku in Division 3 of Formula 1 Xbox Leagues. As I'm beginning to see rain on my screen. Is it raining on track? I think it is. Wow. If only that came a bit sooner. If only that rain came a bit sooner. So our qualifying goes as follows. Leonardo ST in P1 with Slow Dog in P2. Roland P3 with Adske P4. Skangman P5. RPL Titan Iron P6. Hake Jiao P7 with Yadon Checks and Wade and Hubbaday following behind. BT P11. but he has a 5-place grid position, so he'll be starting P16 with Rambo Jambo P12, Pill 13th, Lynx Aventura 14th, DNG Titan, and My Life FC in dead last. What a brilliant qualifying session that was then. Very entertaining, very fun, and very exciting. Can add another pole total for Leonardo ST, getting now 4 poles, matching Slow Dog with his pole position ratio. 4 poles of the season so far. Here we are then, waiting for the race to start here in F1XL. Let's go on to the race director as we can see the starting order for all of the drivers. Yes, and you will see BT has been updated to be dead last here. They all look like we're starting on the hard tyres, but we could see some strategies beginning to fold in for this race as it comes out. We can watch as different drivers select different strategies. Let's go through some of the race rates at the moment. Leonardo ST with 8 out of 11 of the races this season, including the sprint races. All of these statistics include the sprint races. So 8 out of the 11 races that have been done this season so far, Leonardo has placed in the top 5 8 times. He's got a podium 6 times and has won 3 times. Hake Zhou's got in the top 5 8 out of 11, podium 6 out of 11, and won 3 out of 11. So he is matching Leonardo's statistics in that sense, but that's why he's only 7 points behind in the championship. Can he close that gap at all this race? I guess we will find out right here. F1XL Roland has had 6 top 5s, 4 podiums, and 2 wins this year. Good job from him so far. Can he improve on his position of P3? I think there's a very, very real possibility of that being the case. Slow Dog as well, top 5 as 5 out of 11 races, 4 out of 11 has been a podium, and he's won 1 out of 11. F1XL Roland is only 10 points behind Hake Zhou, so can he potentially overtake the... I was about to say Alpine, yeah, he's still Alpine. The Alpine driver of Hake Zhou. F1XL Roland is only 17 points behind Leonardo as well, so can he maybe clinch one hand on that championship just now? Can the Red Bull driver. Slow Dog currently, he seems to be in good form at the moment, winning the last race and having a podium in 3 out of the 3 last races. It's 25 points behind Roland, so something would have to go devastatingly wrong for Roland and brilliantly for Slow Dog if he wants to improve his position in the championship. We're in for a good race tonight with the Mercedes drivers, as we're seeing some strategy begin to change. Leonardo, let's just hope he can get it off the line, keep it in P1, and then he can just run away from it from there with his incredible pace that we are well aware that he has. As we're seeing quite a few drivers starting in mediums or the hard tyres, no one opting to go for the softs today. What a shame that is. So it looks like it could either be a medium hard strategy or a hard medium strategy. We'll see what the tyre wear is like, obviously. We'll have to figure out what it's actually like as a driver. But we will go racing, and it will be a brilliant race for multiple different drivers, hopefully. I remember back in the days when I used to race Division 3, back in the old game, the F123 game, and then F124 came out, and apparently I gained the ability to race, and then I practiced too much, got burnt out, and decided commentating is better. Happens to the best of us. We don't worry about it. What's going to happen here then in this race? The bets are on. I think Leonardo is going to win this. As we go towards the formation lap, Leonardo doesn't pull us away. Slow Dog actually pulls us away, and he goes into first position in the formation lap. What's going to happen here then? Is Leonardo going to try to get past? Is Slow Dog going to give his position back, or is Slow Dog just going to roll with it and see what happened? Maybe that's not a very good look for the race, but we will find out in due course, as Roland stays right behind us talking about tyres. Let's get our, sorry to do that burp by the way. Let's get our strategy up. So we have a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers on the hard tyres. The rest of them are on mediums. 5 drivers on hard as you add on checks. Rambo Jambo, Lynx Adventura, DNG Titan and My Life. Maybe they're waiting for, hopefully no one has a safety car at the start and then waits for a safety car later down the line. Let's see what they end up doing here from a strategy point of view. Here you can see the possible race strategies for those hard tyres. So you could either do a 1-stop or a 2-stop, but considering most of them are on mediums, I highly doubt that race strategy is going to have any form of correlation as to what works better or what works worse. Here we go then, approaching the start of the grid as we just watched the Haas drivers through the castle section. If we put it back here, they've just made it out of the castle section, so their leaders are very, very far ahead. I don't know whether they're going to have to, whether their tyres will actually cool down or not, but I guess we will find out that in a moment. Our 2 leaders are parking up. Slow Dog looks like he's let Leonardo past. What position does Leonardo park in? We don't actually see that because this game is rubbish. Here he is, he's parked in P1, managed to keep himself not disqualified. Slow Dog in P2 right behind, disqualifies himself from the parking spot. That's a bit disappointing for the British driver. Roland parked very nicely, and Adski right behind. We see the kick cyber of Peril, and then miles behind, it must be said, is DNG Titan and Lynx Adventura, before we see the 2 Haas drivers approaching the end of the field. Good race we've got here, folks. Stay with us as we finish the drivers all getting up onto the grid. The drivers all line up very nicely, it must be said, as 1 red light, 2 red lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. As we put our feet to the floor when the lights go out, it's a good start, I think, from Leonardo, who manages to stay ahead as Roland is pushing Slow Dog towards turn 1. Slow Dog has contact. That is a massive accident there. Could have been a lot worse for Slow Dog. Has he got damage? What is happening here? We are watching some form of bumper cuts racing with Slow Dog, it appears. Has he got damage? I don't know, but that is not the start that P4 in the championship was wanting. He was wanting to improve in his position, not make it worse, as there is contact all over the field here for these drivers. This is not good. Not good for Slow Dog at all. We're seeing everyone get past. It on checks is getting past. Slow Dog has dropped way back as Powell gets ahead of My Life in the Haas. Has Slow Dog got damage then? I can only assume he does, as he keeps his pressure on, as we see a Alpine and a McLaren come together in the background there. That is not very good. Leonardo immediately gets a lead of 2 seconds, as that is a driver spun round of My Life FC, spun round on the approach to the castle section. Not what he was wanting. As we watch the 2 Red Bull and McLaren drivers go side by side through here, and approach the sharp braking zone. No longer side by side, but the Red Bull just taps the wall there on entry. That's not what he's looking for as a driver. Has he got damage? No, I don't think he does. Slow Dog is beginning to get the pressure on. He's putting the work in to that V-carb. Can he not bottle this race? Let's find out, as he holds the back of that Red Bull's gearbox like it's nothing. As we see Hakejow get ahead of Skengman. This could be a race very much, very, very, very close between the Alpine and the Ferrari. A lot of moves happening in this field, a lot of stories to start on. Roland having a brilliant start, will make loads of points on his championship rival at the moment, Hake Zhao. As we see in Alpine, maybe just looking for a move as Hubady uses the DRS to get past Rambo Jambo in the Aston Martin. But Rambo Jambo pulls a little switchback move. Can Hubady stay ahead? He can pull it around the outside, the inside of this corner even, and he does get past as he watches Powell then get past Rambo Jambo, and that's a Haas in the wall again. He's got even more wing damage now. That is not what he'll be looking for at all as that Haas driver. It's a very tight and twisty section. Very tight and twisty track in general. As we watch Rambo Jambo, what has he happened here? As it's a yellow flag, he's letting lots of people pass, don't know why. Has he got damage? Did he hit the wall? No, I don't think he did. I don't know what has happened there to the Red Bull driver, but he's just lost a whole lot of positions in this race. Skengman in P4, only 4/10 away from Adski. Can he pull a move using this DRS zone that we are with right now? Getting ever so close to the back of that V-carb. Can he get a podium, Skengman? It would be a brilliant result for the Ferraris if they can get P3 and P4. So, with that question, Slow Dog gets past Yadon and Hake gets past RPL Titan Iron. So, this Alpine could maybe throw a little issue in this Ferrari party that they're wanting to have. As we're watching Skengman now right behind Adski, pulls out. Can he maybe make a move? No, he can't. Maybe that's just a bad exit. Who knows? As we're watching a million cars in one little bit of racetrack, getting very close to the back of the V-carb, I must say. Leonardo has checked out in 3 laps. He's managed to pull a gap of 4 seconds. Very impressive from the Mercedes driver. That will definitely help his championship bid going into the next race. We watch Skengman now pull to the inside. Can he pull a move off here? No way, as there is contact between the two drivers as he touches the back of the V-carb there. Bringing it through the castle section nice and tight. We're watching Adski in front of us on board with Skengman as he uses some overtake. Can he just maybe control that prancing horse round maybe the inside or the outside? Can he pull off a move? Can he use the ability of that horsepower of the prancing horse? I think Adski touched the wall there, which has given Skengman the opportunity to get past into the last braking zone of the track. He goes a bit wide, but that's fine because Adski now, he'll be thinking he has a run. He pulls to the inside, maybe. No, not quite, because he knows he can't pull a move in that corner. He knows that is not what he's looking for as he pulls now to the inside of the track. He's going to get DRS. He's ahead of Skengman and back into the podium positions as he recovers from that. Hake Zhao now wanting to make a move on the Ferrari ahead, but not quite making sure of that. Here we watch 4 cars within 2 seconds of each other, all with their DRS wide open. Maybe this is turning into a bit of a DRS train. Who knows? Hake Zhao really wants to get past these Ferraris. He's wanting to give himself the maximum amount of points loss to Leonardo in this race. He's not wanting to let Leonardo run away. He is hoping for a safety car, probably once he gets past. He's hoping for anything that will help him out in this race at all. Good driving from the boys so far to not have a safety car, it must be said. Adski managing to what looks like just pull back up closer and closer to F1XL Roland, but it's hard to do that when you are defending with your life because you have a Ferrari who's trying to get past you directly next to you. Is the Ferrari going to try and make a move? He goes to the inside, doesn't quite make it work though, as Hake Zhao then behind. Who can get the best exit? That's what this is all about. The longest straight on the calendar. Second longest straight, must be said. I think that last figure strip topped that. As we watch the drivers fly past this corner at speeds of 300 odd kilometers per hour. We see Lynx Adventura make a move on BT. Impressive stuff from the McLaren driver to get into P11. As we see Hakejao get past the Ferrari. The Ferrari just manages to hold it. Skingman and RPL Titan Iron go wide. Skingman goes wide. RPL Titan Iron manages to get ahead. As we see Yadon checks pits. Has he got damage? That would be highly unfortunate for the McLaren driver. He does. He gets that front wing replaced. That is not what he's looking for this early into the race. He will be hating this. Absolutely hating this. Hakejao only 4/10 behind Adske now. Can he do the thing that Skingman never could? Can he just maybe get into the podium positions? He's wanting to absolutely minimise how much time he is losing to Leonardo. How many points he's losing? Only 7 points behind he is right now, Hakejao. Very, very close to the championship. He's wanting to fight for this championship as hard as possible. With Leonardo so far ahead, it's hard to even just catch up that far to him. Around a fifth through the race at the moment, as we still have Leonardo leading. 5 laps in, and Leonardo is miles ahead of the field. 6.4 seconds separate everybody, separate first and second. And Roland is just continuing to lose time, even though he's under no pressure whatsoever. The speed on that Mercedes is unbelievably quick, as Hakejao manages to get ahead of Adske into turn 1, and the two Ferraris look like they're back to battling. Maybe a move will be made in the next DRS zone, as Skingman does look like the faster Ferrari drivers. As Lynx Adventura makes a move on the Haas driver. There's a contact and there's a crash as the Alpine goes into the wall. That was very similar actually to the Sergio Perez incident and Carlos Sainz incident of 2024. BT and Lynx Adventura are wheel to wheel going towards turn 3. Lynx Adventura locks up, goes a bit wide, loses a couple of positions, but still manages to hold it and not quite go into the wall. That's probably a good thing for the McLaren driver, because we do not want a safety car at the moment. Lynx Adventura has the opportunity to get into the race here. Yes, I agree, Lynx is looking quick, but he needs to stop making mistakes for this to be done well. Leonardo now 7 seconds ahead of F1XL Roland, as Adske in P4. Maybe can he just hold on to the back of Hake? Can he make a move on Hake in this race? That is what we are all curious about. Powell, P11, can he get a move to get into the points positions? He is very close to the gearbox of that Haas of BT, as he puts his foot to the floor, trying to get the maximum amount out of that kick Sauber. He is touching the back of that Haas. He knew this move is coming. He knows that this is what he's looking for, to get into the points, as we see Skingman get ahead of his teammate at Ferrari. BT, what's happened here? There's a crash. DNG Titan has spun around and there is debris all over the track. That is not what's good at all. I'm surprised that's not a safety car, if I'm being honest with you. But the track's gone green. They continue to move. Rambo Jambo losing positions with Powell, and Lynx Adventura has made it back up to P10. Impressive stuff from McLaren after being P14 only a minute ago. However, the kick Sauber of Powell will be wanting to get back into those points. He'll be wanting to get that position that he's ever so dearly wanted, as we see the Haas get his front wing replaced in the pits. Number 69 of BT. What a brilliant number. Seeing Lynx got overtaken by Powell. We did miss that. I do apologise. But hopefully Lynx can get some points on this board. Very quick driver, I know he is. He just needs to put his head down now and foot to the floor and figure out how to strategically get ahead of Powell. Hakejao only 7/10 behind. He has closed the gap up to Roland a lot. Maybe, just maybe, he can maybe get a move off on Roland at some point in this race. Maybe Haekjao can get P2 and only lose 8 points to his championship rival, Leonardo ST14. Who knows, every point in this championship battle could count. Currently Leonardo is only 7 points ahead, so he needs to make sure his head is as close as possible to a brilliant result. As we see Skingman get past Adski on the big long straight, as I like to call it. Haekjao just having a little look down the inside of Roland, showing him, hey, I'm here, I'm going to make a move at some point, and I'm ready to make that move whenever it counts. Stays behind, doesn't quite get the move off this lap, maybe at the DRS zone next. As we see, Adski has crashed, and wow, that is not what he's looking for. Adski was in the podium position, but he is not anymore, as he has now crashed. Has he got damage? He's now overheated the rears, and we can see that by him sliding all around the whole track. It's not what he's looking for. He needs to keep that V-carb under control, because that is not the brilliant car control that is needed for that Red Bull third seat, I'm going to call it. Skingman only 2/10 away from F1XL Roland. As Haekjao got past Roland, I missed that, my apologies. Skingman going to also want to get past Roland here in the Ferrari. That Ferrari is looking mighty quick, it must be said. As Lynx Ventura has managed to get a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. I assume that is for track limits. Impressive stuff around BAKU. That's all I'm going to say. Ferrari here of Skingman going to open his DRS very wide in about 100 meters, and he's open. He's on his hot lap ERS mode. He is going to use as much of that as possible. Back onto medium. He's going to want to get past Roland. Haek is now under pressure from the Red Bull as we see Adski lose another position to Hubady. Not what the V-carb driver is looking for. He needs to just make sure he stays focused as, oh, that's a Ferrari of Skingman has spun round and crashed, and there is debris again all over the track. I'm surprised we've not had a safety car yet, but he manages to continue going. He will need that front wing change though, as those flaps are gone and his end plate is also gone. That is not a good front wing. That is not looking in a healthy condition, and that is not what Skingman is looking for in the slightest. Haekjao, now he's in P2. The gap is slowly but surely between P1 and P2 not quite opening up as much as it originally was. Haekjao currently 8.6 seconds away. It was previously updating around 1 second a lap, but you can see that's not so much the case now, and he's almost beginning to reel Leonardo in slightly. It's a big race and the lot can still happen, so make sure to stay with us. We've got F1XL Roland only 8/10 behind, but that is going to be a track limits warning for the Red Bull driver. Going onto the big long straight as it turns left and then right through the very, very fast corners that we see right here. Rambo Jambo currently only 8/10, 7/10 off of Lynx Ventura. He knows he needs to get past, because if he wants a chance at points, he needs to execute this move very, very nicely. The gap goes down to 5/10 as his DRS opens wide open. Lynx doesn't have any DRS as we see Skingman and oh goodness, Skingman go into the pits in that Ferrari as we thought he would. The Red Bull right behind Lynx Ventura now. Can the Red Bull make a move? He's using his overtake. He is getting closer and closer to the back of that McLaren. Is he going to go pull to the inside, make a move? No, he has not this lap at least. Not quite worth making that move at the moment. F1XL Roland only 9/10 off of Haekjao, but Haekjao looks like he's beginning to check out, and he is beginning to lead, reel in Leonardo, as Leonardo was 8.6 seconds away, but he's now 8.4. So this race could still very well be on as Hake slowly brings that gap back down. But maybe just Leonardo has a different setup on. Maybe Leonardo has more of a top speed setup, as through the fast corners Leonardo seems to be actually pulling away as opposed to staying with Hake. Staying on F1XL roll, because that looks like the smallest gap in the field just now, other than the two Haas drivers down in P14 and P15. But this is the battle we're all looking for. 5 tenths as they both crawl into the pits. Maybe it's for the undercut and Leonardo, maybe, who knows, but we will see who will manage to get the strategy battle to work out better. As Slow Dog heads into the pits as well. Did he ever get his damage fixed? I don't think he had damage actually, we established that on the first fact, but Hake Zhao now managing to go through the pit lane and exits P3 as what the Alpine driver was actually properly looking for. Tell you who's not enjoying it, Roland, who now must have been held up in the pits because he is now 2.1 seconds behind RPL Titan Iron. Not very good for him at all. He has been absolutely mugged off in the pit lane there. Not very fun. I assume Leonardo will be coming in to pit this lap. Can't really assume much different, but Adski is currently in P2 in the V-Carb. I would say good result for him, but he also hasn't pit at the moment and he has made a mistake, so it's good to remember that. As BT gets past Powell and they are wheel to wheel through this section, but not quite managing, as Powell uses his overtake to defend against the Haas driver. Turning right into the castle section, there will be no moves made in this area as Leonardo comes into the pits. Going towards pit lane, very nice stop from the Mercedes pit crew and a very good reaction time from the Mercedes driver as well. Coming out of the pit lane, he manages to, it's very difficult pit exit I must say, because you need to make sure that you keep that turn going when you press the pit exit button. But he stays in P1, Leonardo. As BT gets a 3-second time penalty, as we're 3 wide going into turn 1. Not quite, as Lynx Adventura stays in P3 on his 11 lap old hard. Rambo Jambo is battling very hard with the McLaren. But can Lynx Adventura stay P3? That would be incredible result for him if he can, but Slow Dog is in to P4 with his brand new tyres. It will be a matter of minutes before he's ahead of Lynx. I'm going to give it not much longer than 2. Slow Dog's a very fast driver, I know he is, I've raced with him a couple times. I used to be in this division racing him, so I know he is a very impressive driver. As we see a Red Bull drop back of Rambo Jambo, he must be struggling out there a lot. Powell looks like he's gone onto the soft compound of tyres. Whether that was an accident or not, who knows. That does not look like the strategy that he meant to put on. Maybe going for a fastest lap attempt, who knows. Trying to squeeze out an extra point, but even still, he needs to be in the top 10. Get that point as Slow Dog gets ahead of Lynx Adventura. Again, as I said, very, very quick driver. He can do a lot of things as he hits the wall. Does he have damage on his V-Carb? That would not be good for the V-Carb driver. I don't think he does. He's gotten very lucky there, it must be said. We watched F1XL Roland and Lynx Adventura go wheel to wheel. And then maybe a move from Titan Iron through on Lynx Adventura. Wow, that's impressive through. That's fast sweeping corners. Very, very good stuff to keep it pinned through that section of the track as Lynx Adventura is now just falling off. But he is, I think, going to dive into the pit lane. He is. Is he going to put on those medium tyres, which he so desperately needs? Is he going to put on the medium tyres that he needs to keep the pace up on the McLaren? There we go. He exits from the pit lane as Hubday gets ahead of Rambo Jambo. They are wheel to wheel through turn 3, but manages to get ahead of the Red Bull in the Aston Martin. Leonardo currently 9.8 seconds ahead of Hake Zhao. He clearly got very lucky with the strategy. I'm not even going to call it luck. Maybe it's just pace differential from the two drivers. That Mercedes driver of Leonardo is unbelievably quick in this race from what I'm seeing so far. Halfway through the race now. Hake Zhao 10 seconds behind Leonardo and Slow Dog 7 seconds behind Hake. F1XL Roland will be wanting to make a move on Slow Dog any moment now. And Slow Dog is on those hard tyres. So is Roland. Roland will be pushing his foot to the floor to try and get as much as possible out of those tyres. As much of the horses to be as powerful as possible from the Red Bull, and Leonardo puts in a stunning lap time of 1:42.6 for his fastest lap of the race and the race's fastest lap of the race. Is Roland going to try and make a move? No, he is currently on no ERS mode at all, as he does set a new personal best. You're on checks, gets ahead of Rambo Jambo. Rambo Jambo really needs to pit, I feel, off of those hard tyres, because he is beginning to fall back quite a distance, and he is going to lose a lot of positions in this race should he not pit later. So many cars in such close proximity here. As we see DNG Titan get ahead of Lynx Adventura. That pit stop was really not good as they're wheel to wheel through turn 1. DNG Titan wants to get it back ahead, but he doesn't quite, as Lynx Adventura manages to defend very well and stay ahead of the Alpine. DNG Titan pulls out. Can he squeeze down the inside? No, he can't. Lynx Adventura stays ahead as DNG Titan manages to just hold the battle here in the Alpine. F1XL Roland getting very, very close to the back of Slow Dog. He'll be wanting to get even closer to Hake Zhao if possible. And if he can get past Hake Zhao, then it'll be a very satisfying thing of the top 4 being the top 4 in the championship. Very impressive that would be. And very interesting that would be as well. Can Roland get past that? He's only 2/10 behind. He's hit a DRS zone. He's going to open that rear wing as much as he can. He's got no ERS mode, but can he still pull off the move? It would not surprise me at all. But no, he opts to stay behind. But can he maybe just pull off the move down the inside of this next turn 3 as Judon Checks goes into the pits? Roland, now, very close to the back. He's using his overtake. He's wanting to get past Hake because he knows this DRS zone is where you want to get past. This is where you can get past in the track. He pulls the inside. He gets the inside line and he gets ahead of Slow Dog in the V-Carb. Good driving from F1XL Roland, it must be said. And now we've got the top 4 to be the top 4 drivers in the championship. Big gaps all over the field then. Everyone is around a second away from everyone else other than Hubady, who is only 9/10 away from the Ferrari ahead of him. 7/10. So Ferrari must have made a mistake through castle section because Hubady has just closed up massively through that sector 2 area. Can Hubady maybe make a move on RPL Titan Iron? Approaching, or maybe on the main straight. We will find out as he pulls to the inside. Can he get the move done? No, he cannot. I think the Red Bull of Rambo Jambo behind in the background also touched the wall. Not ideal from him at all. As we see Hubady now close up to the back. He goes left, he goes right, and then there's a very long straight that they need to make sure they do and execute very well. Using as much ERS as possible. He's going to get DRS as well. And then he's going to close the DRS because he doesn't want to pass on this straight. That's what we're finding a lot. Drivers are not wanting to pass on this main straight because they know the main passing area is between turn 2 and turn 3, because then they have the whole track to themselves rather than get overtaken immediately after. Hubbard then pulls to the inside, gets ahead RPL Titan Iron between turn 2 and turn 3, just as I said, as he then goes round the rest of the track, and Rambo Jambo is in the pit lane getting overtaken by lots of different drivers. Here's RPL Titan Iron, only 5 tenths behind Hubbard. Can he maybe pull a move back on the Aston Martin? That's what we will find out in just a moment. RPL Titan Iron just holding into the gearbox of Hubbard. Round the castle section, tightest area on the Formula 1 calendar. He is touching the back of that Aston Martin, and he is going to have a brilliant job to do. Such a brilliant race around this track. Breaking into the sort of mini straight before the long straight that we will see in just a moment. RPL Titan Iron goes round and follows the back of Hubbard. Maybe he can get a move back on. That's what we potentially think. Maybe. Can the Ferrari get back through? Can Skengman bring it back from P9 after such a promising race from him before crashing into the wall? RPL Titan Iron then pulls into the inside and gets past Hubbard on the inside line, and has enough time to even go back to the normal racing line after it gets past. Turns in at the 50 board, brings it as close to the exit as possible, and now Hubbard, can he get a move back? He knows this is the overtaking spot, he knows this is where he can defend, but Hubbard, what can he do? He pulls to the inside. Hubbard doesn't just brake late, he manages to stay behind and thinks, not this time, but he will get back past next time. RPL Titan Iron's looking quick here, and I believe he can get a very, very promising result for the Ferrari family. As we see, Wade and Skengman are very, very close to the back of each other as they go towards the castle section of the racetrack. In here, looks like he maybe just tapped the wall there on the outside, but doesn't quite manage to get that off as he holds those hard tyres, braces them like it's nothing, and wants to get past the kick Sauber of Wade as soon as possible. We're seeing Hubbard get close to the back of the kick Sauber. Nope, we're seeing Hubbard get close to the back of the Ferrari with only a 7/10 gap now, and Adske getting close to the back of Hubbard with an 8/10 gap between then. Let's have a look at that then, as we see Hubbard open his DRS as he approaches the back of the Ferrari driver. Braking as he turns in for the turn 1, and then turning in again for turn 2. Can he maybe just get a better exit than the Ferrari? As F1XL Roland gets overtaken by Slow Dog. Roland brakes late. Slow Dog doesn't quite manage to hold it. Slow Dog is ahead of the Red Bull. We've got 5 different constructors, 6 different constructors in the top 6 here. As there is a yellow flag at turn 1. What has happened? We need to know. As there's a virtual safety car because BT has crashed and he has broken his front wing fully. Wow. Virtual safety car. Is anyone going to pit under it? I assume Powell will. Yes, he will. Going into the pits goes Powell to get rid of those soft tyres. I'm not surprised at all. Is anyone else going to pit? Maybe Leonardo. Maybe he's going to put on a soft tyre for these last few laps of the race. It's only a virtual safety car though. It only neutralises the field, remember. That's where they all follow a certain lap time delta to keep as much of the gaps. They need to keep the gaps in a virtual safety car, and that is what the whole thing is. As Powell, oh, that's unfortunate. Powell gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the pit lane. Speeding under virtual safety car, sorry. That is not good at all for the kick Sauber. Leonardo stays in P1 then. as there's a caution in Sector 2. I'm trying to figure out what that is. I think it's an Alpine. I think it's gone now. And Powell has left the session. He looks like he is rage quit. That is not very good from the kick server. But I totally see where he's coming from. There's a Haas of BT goes wide, battling with My Life. The two teammates having a fierce rivalry, and BT's in the wall. He crashes. He's got a wheel missing. That's another virtual safety car. What's going to happen here? They all slow down again. That is not good for the Haas team. I knew as soon as they went wheel to wheel through that section that was never ending well, as one of the drivers did appear to touch the wall just before and then just go straight into the wall just after. Link's Adventura then in the pits put on soft tyres for the next stint of this race. We'll see what happens with that. Keep an eye. Rambo Jambo has done the exact same thing, keeping his soft tyres and using them for now. And so is DNG Titan, and I assume My Life is doing the exact same thing. They're all putting on soft tyres, seeing what they can do towards the end phase of this race. Can they maybe bring it back to nothing to get points? Who knows? We will have to find out that in a moment. Still a virtual safety car out here. It might actually be a full safety car actually, because all the boards say safety car and there's a safety car out on track. So I'm going to say it's an actual full safety car, which would be horrible for Leonardo, but brilliant for Hake. Hake could be wanting to get more points on Leonardo, and all he needs to do is win this race, and he could get the lead of this championship. I think. Yeah, 25 minus 18 is in fact 7. All he needs is a difference of 7 laps. That's all Hake needs. Hake knows that's all he needs, and he knows that the lead of the championship could happen today should he get ahead of Leonardo. Here they go, they all put on soft tyres. Other than Hake, Hake puts on medium, so does Leonardo. Adske stays out on his old hard tyres. He'll be getting passed by Hake in no time. Slowdog has got those soft tyres on, as well as RPL Titan Iron, Hubday, Skingman, Link's Adventura, Ramajambo, My Life, and DNG Titan. Adske and Yadon Checks are the only drivers who have opted to stay on their current tyres, not wanting to change them at all. As Hake, Roland and Wady think softs just won't last long enough and they need to go something different. And Leonardo all think softs won't last long enough and they need to go for something different. They need to go for what they think will last the 6 laps left in this race. Here we go then, under safety car, Leonardo currently leads the race, followed by Adske, and Hakejow is currently in 3rd. Slowdog currently in 4th with Yadon Checks in 6th. Let's currently go through the penalty situation. Slowdog has a drive-through penalty. Can't assume why that is. That's not very good from the car driver. He will not be very happy about that. I'm going to think speeding under virtual safety car, but I could very well be wrong. Looking at the stops then, Leonardo has had 2 stops, Adske has only 1. The rest of the drivers are also on 2, other than My Life FC who has had 3. I think he had to pit earlier to get his tyres changed. Position change then, let's have a look from the start of the race. Leonardo stayed in P1, but Hakejow has had a brilliant race to rise from. I think it was he qualified. If I check the race director. Hick Joe qualified P7 and has moved up 4 positions to get up to P3. Done checks. Also moved up with Slow Dog going in 2 positions. He started in P2 with that awful start, if you remember. He's done a brilliant job to get it back up to the top of the field. Roland also had a poor start with RPL, Titan, Iron as well, now down 7. Hubby has managed to have a very good race so far and get up 2 positions. As Link's Adventure and Member Jambo switch positions. I'm going a bit back ahead. I think that was an accident from the McLaren driver, as one of them seems to be very laggy. Got a Haas driver here in the back, only 4 seconds off. We need him to catch up to the rest of the field, and then Dainty Titan for it to get back underway. What we need is this safety car to get back underway somewhat soon, and then we will have a race in our hands. I reckon is the right call with soft tyres. I don't think medium tyres is going to do the pace which a good tyre is going to, and then we can go. Leonardo then weaving to try and get those tyre temperatures in. Safety car comes in this lap then, there it is. Adski will be wanting to hold the back of the Mercedes, and H.O. will want to hold the back of that V car. We'll be wanting to get ahead of both of these drivers in no time. Let's have a look, see what ends up happening here then. Leonardo holds it. It's a very difficult start here on the Baku City Street Circuit, as you need to wait so long for the safety car to end up getting into the pits, and then you need to wait so long, but he goes. Leonardo is flat to the foot to the floor. It's Adske who comes right behind Heikjo, right behind Adske. Heikjo, can he make a move on Adske? He'll be wanting to get that move done as soon as possible for the championship reasons. Heikjo only 3/10 behind, no moves done immediately, but there is Link's Adventura ahead of Wady and My Life FC ahead of Rambo Jambo as they're wheel to wheel in towards turn 2. Can they avoid contact? Can they avoid an incident? They can, as Rambo Jambo gets back ahead of My Life. Heikjo gets ahead of Adski then, as I said he would, and he now has to put his foot to the floor to try and chase after Leonardo. As Slow Dog also gets past Adsi. Slow Dog will be a main concern for both Heikjo and Leonardo for this race, as we see the Haas and the Red Bull continuing to battle through this section, wheel to wheel through here. Let's hope they don't have any more incidents. They don't. Haas goes a bit wide, the Red Bull gets better exit. Can the Red Bull maybe move to the inside, make a move? No, it cannot. The Red Bull stays, maybe touches the Haas, and the Alpine manages to get that advantage. Heikjo then 1.4 seconds off Leonardo. He'll be wanting to get closer and closer to the Mercedes driver in front. He'll be wanting to stay in the DRS, hopefully, for this race, as the DRS is all that he really wants to have. And if he can get the DRS, he can get ahead. He knows he can. Slow Dog though will be a forever present issue for the Alpine drivers. He sets the purple sector 2 times. Very impressive from the V-car as he goes round these fast corners. Can he improve his pace? Does he go into the pits? It does go into the pits. Has he got damage? That would not be good. Why is this? Why is Slow Dog going to the pits? He was in such a good position at DRS, and wow, that is not very good for the V-car driver right to the end and the back of the field. He's got to serve that drive-through penalty. Of course he does. Yes, I forgot he had to do that. Wow, that's unfortunate for the V-car driver. Hubden and Skangman then battling as F1XL Roland gets ahead of Adski. Heikjo now 2 seconds behind Leonardo. He is falling off from the back of this Mercedes driver. Link's Adventura wheel to wheel with a Ferrari. Can they avoid contact? They can. That was very impressive from both drivers. Well done to them both for not having incredible amounts of contact. The Haas then, I think I saw My Life hit the wall in the background there. not very good from him. As we see it on checks now, only 4 tenths away from Adski. Getting very close. And now only 9 tenths. We must have made a mistake through castle section because RPL Titan Iron is now right on the back of him as Skangman gets ahead of the Aston Martin. Is that the Aston Martin touched the wall? I think it was. I think the Aston Martin now has issues as Halberde gets the 3-second time penalty. Yes, as I said, I think the Aston Martin has issues, and he does. He has a front wing end plate damage that's not good for the Aston Martin at all, as Wadey then gets past. Obviously he gets a better exit because he has a front wing intact. Skangman then only 5 tenths away from the other Ferrari, and Leonardo setting another fastest lap of the race. Very ominous pace from the Mercedes driver, and if he wins the championship he would absolutely deserve it, that's for sure. Adski then only 7 tenths behind Czechs, and RPL Titan are only 3 tenths behind Adski. With both drivers having DRS, maybe the move won't be made, and we can see that right now. We see Halberde pull to the inside, not quite managing to make a move, and yet still trying his best to make things like that work. Adski then, even though he's on those 12 lap old hards, he's still doing a phenomenal job to keep in P5, stay in the position that he's in, and you don't check, same with him, as he's on those 9 lap old mediums. Sure, he might have that gap to P3, but he is holding a race of his own on those old mediums, doing a phenomenal job to maintain pace and stay with the pace of the other drivers that we see. Skangman then, very close to the back of his teammate, looking very, very scary as they approach this corner. That's where the two Haas drivers collided, if you remember correctly. Here we go then. They are very, very close. 1/10 separates the two of them. Can he maybe pull a move down these fast corners right here? No, he can't. But they are definitely wanting a piece of each other as he maybe dives down the inside of this very fast right-hand corner. Barely even a corner in these Grand Prix cars. He has DRS. He holds that position. Skangman into P6. RPL Titan Iron loses a position to his teammate as Halberde goes into P10 with My Life FC right behind them. Skangman gets ahead of Adski, as I think that's front wing damage for someone. It's Adski. Adski has touched the wall and he will be majorly missing out here. Maybe he's struggling on those tyres, struggling with grip, struggling with everything, but he definitely won't have the pace now. He will drop right back this lap and he will be wanting to get into the pits to fix his front wing. Wadey then only 1/10 behind RPL Titan Iron. Maybe he can pull off a move into the castle section. Maybe he can pull off a move just before the castle section. Who knows what this Kick Sauber can do, because he also has a McLaren right behind him. As RPL Titan Iron gets 3-second time penalty. Hickjar then currently in P2. 3.5 seconds behind Leonardo. That's not good. But Leonardo, we know he's quick. We know how much he ran away with this race. We know how he has sweated out this race. He has done a phenomenal job so far, it must be said, in that Mercedes. You've only got to respect it at that point. The Mercedes driver making sure he shows people who he is, making sure he shows, hey, I'm leading the championship, I'll show you how to lead a championship. As Wadey gets past RPL Titan Iron, we saw that move coming half a lap away. But however, he doesn't have DRS. RPL Titan Iron does. He does pull to the inside and gets ahead of the Kick Sauber, but the Kick Sauber holds around the outside. Can the Kick Sauber maintain position here? If he stays in P6, he does. RPL Titan Iron might get a second chance though here into this DRS zone. He gets another batch of DRS as he pulls right into the inside of that corner. He doesn't quite manage to make the move though. The move does not stick for the Ferrari driver, managing to not do very well for himself. I reckon though, in the final straight, This will be a world-class finish for how close these drivers are. This will be very close, as we see Link's Adventura in the background, just lighting up his dreams a bit, giving the crowd a show for his smoky tyres. Leonardo then, he's won this race from start to finish. You see Rambo, Jambo, getting a move on My Life FC. And Slow Dog managing to get past them both. Very good job from Slow Dog to get back in this race, it must be said. Can Clough move down the middle, who knows. But in the meantime, Leonardo, he has won this race start to finish. The Mercedes driver showing who is in the lead of the championship, showing his face, making sure everybody knows it's him. It's him who wins the Baku Grand Prix here in F1XL Division 3. Brilliant job from him as Haixiao manages to recover from a P7 qualifying into P2, and Roland finishes P3. With Yadon Checks and Skingman in P5, with Rady finishing P6. RPL, Titan Iron, Link's Adventure and Hubbaday are all right next to each other, and a million other drivers across the line. So much so I didn't manage to have a look at all the names, but all I know is Hubbaday in the end has finished P12. What a race. Checks managed to get driver of the day. I think that should have went to Leonardo. His pace in that race was astounding, managing to get an absolutely phenomenal result of P1, and he was insanely quick, almost terrifying, I think. That. Good job from him. Practice has went in, effort has went in, and he has been quick all weekend around, so you got to be happy for the guy. He's absolutely smashed it, and he's done an absolutely tremendous job, so round of applause to him. Absolutely deserves it. So your provisional results here for the F1XL Division 3 race are Leonardo in B1 with Hake in B2, Roland goes P3 with Checks in P4, Skangman P5 with Wady P6, Adske P7, Slow Dog in P8 with RPL Titan Iron in P9. My Life FC manages to get points in that Haas with Lynx in P11. Hubbaday goes P12 with DNG Titan in the Alpine going 13th with Rambo Jambo in 14th. BT goes 15th with Powell in 16th. That is all of your results for the Baku Grand Prix in F1XL Division 3. We thank you for watching the commentary. I hope it did well. And enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you very much, everyone.